And tonight our webinar is on autumn adventures in Seesaw. So we're going to have a Seesaw focus. So hopefully everybody who is in here is elementary. That's really grades pre-K through 2. Because we do have the paid version of Seesaw for those grades. Okay. Now, if you are upper elementary, you can still use the free version of Seesaw.
Yeah, it's just a little tricky. So you'd have to contact one of me or a digital specialist because, yeah, have to
Okay.
some ways around it. But yes, you can get to it. But
Okay, so on our webinar, we have Karen and myself. I'm Kaylee Wiemeyer, and I'm a digital learning specialist. Karen, you want to introduce yourself?
yeah, Karen Gopel, and I'm the program coordinator for digital learning. You've seen us around all over the place. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so then this is just kind of our agenda of what the things that we're going to go through. We're going to talk a little bit about journals. We're going to talk about how you can use Seesaw as a station, how you can personalize learning and do like pathways with folders. We'll talk about the new formative assessments, or it's not new, it's new-ish, formative assessment tool. We'll talk about the instructional templates, which are one of my favorite. We'll give you some library tips, and then we're going to talk about the family portal. So if you are new to Seesaw and you haven't used the family portal, this will be great for you. So, real quick. Sorry. So we're going to jump into journals. Okay, and I think we've got some
I'm
extra.
trying to see who is not muted. Okay. Just make sure as soon as you bounce in, you mute yourself. That's good. All right. Thanks.
And I think we have somebody waiting in the lobby. Let's add them.
There they are. I think I got it.
Awesome. So for those of you who have just joined us, if you scroll up in the chat, you will see the bit.ly link for the presentation that you'll see on the screen. And then you'll also see the price form. So make sure you get both of those links. Okay. All right. And so we're going to just talk about journals. And so this slide's just really great kind of overall view of the journals is you can use them as welcome posts, instructional videos for your students and your families. Great for when students are absent. They can view those videos. Anchor charts. I love putting anchor charts in the journal for everyone to see and have access to. And then, of course, the big thing is student portfolios. So students can select what they want to put into their journal. And of course, if you've turned on the family access, which we'll talk about later, then parents will have access to their students' portfolio and can see all of the wonderful things that they're doing in your classroom. Okay? And so I love these pictures. These are all just examples of students putting things into their journal. And what I like about the journal is that teachers don't necessarily have to create something first. There doesn't have to be an assignment. Students can just click on that plus button. And so I'm going to switch tabs over here. And this is just a course that I have in Schoology that Karen and I have. And so students, they can just click on this add button, and then they can just add it to their student journal. And so that's what I really love is you can just do something that is on the fly, and then students can add it to their journal. Okay. And then that's another thing right here. I just want to kind of highlight this is that students can take pictures and explain using sentence stems. So you can have sentence stems on your board, and then students can take a picture of their work. So if they've done something that is handwritten, or if they've worked with manipulatives that are on their table, they can just take a picture with their iPad, and then they'll be able to explain it and upload it into Seesaw. Okay. I do like the whole thing. I've seen a teacher do this, and it was really cute of students recording each other's reflections. So they're doing the think, write, share, and record. And so that's what this kind of middle picture right here, the students are recording each other. So it's just a great way for students to kind of get comfortable talking on the technology and talking on a digital platform. And,
Mhm.
and then I also love this for creating class celebrations. I think we've also seen another teacher do this as well, where students will celebrate each other using the Seesaw journal.
Mhm.
So that's just really quick about the journal. We're going to move on to stations. And so there are a couple of different ways that you can use Seesaw as a station. Excuse me, I've got my tea here for when I do cough. I have my tea with lemon.
Ah,
Um, so in Seesaw, let me just flip on over here to Seesaw, and I'm going to just click on the library and find an activity real quick. Um, let's just do this daily routine.
oh, he's-
So let's say this is something that I want to do as a station. It's, it's not a webinar without Karen's dogs. So, um, so what I like about this one has two different things. So let's just say that I want my students to do the watch and play letters here. I can click present to class. Now I can pull this up on my Clear Touch and then sorry, and then do the present to class. And then students can actually watch this and they would watch this video and then they would do the activity here. And so they don't necessarily have to share their work here, or let's say that they did, then they can take a picture of their work with their iPad from that's displayed on the Clear Touch. And then they can submit that to the Seesaw Journal. So I like this way of using it as a station um, so that kids are still interacting with the Clear Touch panel, but then they're also still on Seesaw doing this as a station. Okay. And so that's just kind of like the steps right here is using um, that present to class feature. Not everybody knows about that present to class. And so I like that because sometimes, and actually I'm going to take you through the Seesaw Essentials because it's one of my favorites. So if I go back into the Seesaw library and I go back into the Seesaw Essentials right here, it's a blue one. If you're new to Seesaw, or if your students are new to Seesaw, I really love these Seesaw Tools 101. There are 10 lessons. And so it takes them through each of the different tools that are in Seesaw. And so, like for this eraser tool, last year when we first started, I had so many teachers use this just to get comfortable using Seesaw. So I really like it. And what they would do is the learn and the practice piece, they would use the present to class. And then they would actually do the extended practice that is what they would assign. Okay? And so they would kind of do that gradual release of we're all going to do the learn together and then we're going to practice together as well. And now I'm going to let you go on your own. Okay. And so that's kind of how teachers would do that. But there's also a lesson plan, and there's different ways that you can implement this in your classroom. So these are my favorites, especially when you're learning. If you're brand new to Seesaw, you've never used it before, maybe you've switched grades, this is just a great place to go. And just so you know, it's in the Seesaw Essentials. So we're going to go to the Seesaw Library, then Seesaw Essentials, and Seesaw Tools 101. And there are 10 different lessons. Okay. And so that's just another way of how you can use stations. So I might go through the tools, each being a station on a different day. Okay. All right, Karen, and I think that brings us to you. So I'm going to stop sharing.
yes, it does. So I'm going to start sharing. Let me know. Did it start to share? Okay.
Yes, it did.
Move this over. All right. So let me get to my slide right here. And so basically what we want to talk about now is um, how can we make this easier for students? And we know that we have a lot of campuses that are personalized learning campuses, so their focus may be on pathways. But even if your class or your campus is not a personalized learning campus, the ability for you to use the groups feature and to use folders in Seesaw makes it so easy for you to uh, differentiate, to put in extra activities, because we all know we have those kids who are like high flyers that finish everything right away, and they're asking, what do I do now? So you could have some activities and things in there that would help them. So I'm now going to go to, let me see if I can move this out of the way. There we go. All right, so I'm back. I'm now in Seesaw, so I'm going to just show you. So what I did, and I was brainstorming with Emily yesterday or the day before, or Friday, but we were brainstorming about, because she was, we were thinking about how could we, at some of her campuses, they use data trackers where the kids are color coding, and they might have red and yellow and green and blue, different things that they color, look at their data. And so that's an easy way for you to, even when you make your folders, now I just grabbed some colors, but getting it to match. So in this example, I do have different subjects, but you could have, because these come in already rostered, so you would have a Seesaw class for your math because they kind of match what you're giving on the report card. So what in a math class, what I would say is you could have different colors, and then you could say, all right, looking at your data tracker, and as you're working at a small group table, you might say, okay, I want you to go find some activities that are in the blue folder. And what's cool is, and I'm going to go to the wrench, and I'm going to go down to where, to get to the folders, you go all the way down to the bottom where it says manage my folders. So you set these folders up the way you would like. You just say create a folder, you name it, and you give it a color scheme. So it makes it real easy, especially for a pre-K or for a kindergarten student who's not quite a reader. You could even have them labeled on the board, colors, and say, okay, I want you to go find the green folder. Now, I think on here on our, uh-oh, I can't get to my button because it's like blocking me. Oh, shoot. Well, let me see. Oh, there, I moved it. It let me. I mean, are y'all still on my, y'all still see my screen, right? Because I was up, ever. So we do have a picture right here that for a student view, for them to get to their folders, because this is, right now I'm in teacher mode on Seesaw, but for students, they have the little folders up here. They just click on that folder and it will have them all listed down in there, and then they can find the folder that they need. But back here, when you make your folders, I know I didn't, yep. All right, so you can color code them, you can label them, especially for first and second. You could label it by maybe what teaks you're working on. Maybe if you're in the Seesaw, that some teachers will use the homeroom Seesaw class and just do everything in there. Some teachers we know will use the reading Seesaw for doing all the ELA things, and they'll use the math one or the science one. I used to think, oh wow, I think I probably put them all in one. But as I've started working with teachers, I kind of think sometimes it gets too much if you keep all the subjects into one. So something to think about is just training them to go to the course that you want. And you see, we changed the icon, so it's real easy by using the wrench here to change that class icon so that they can easily find that class if they're not reading yet. But I do like the idea of putting the folders in by the teaks or by the the concept that you're working on, so you could easily send them and say, okay, y'all go, you need some extra practice on addition to 20. So I want you to go to the blue folder today and find some activities. So it's a great way for you to differentiate, because you've already built your folders, but then you have a way to differentiate what they're going to. Okay. The other thing that you can do is when I'm going to go to my library, and let me just grab something from out of here. Let's say that I wanted to put this, we're working in social studies on mapping skills, and I go to assign. So I would pick my class and say next, and here I could do it by grouping. So maybe I want to just assign this activity to the students that I know are ready. So I made a little group here called Ladybugs. I didn't put anyone in, so let me go back out of this for just a second and show you how I did the grouping. So when you go to the wrench, you come down here to manage student groups. And what I liked about this is I actually picked a name from one of the icons. So I'm gonna, oh, I don't know. Let's see, I think there is one that's a turtle. Let me just put turtles. Okay, there's a turtle. I'm going to say add student group. Up here, see it put a shark. Oh, maybe I just want to change their name to sharks since it already named. I'm going to just do that since it named them that. And then I just come down here and I know that these students need to be in there. And now I'm going to click the green little check mark. I never added anyone to my ladybugs. Let me scroll down here. I'm going to add a few people in, put some check marks. So now when I go to my library and I go to assign, I can differentiate by my grouping. So I go to assign. There's the class I'm in. I'm going to say not all students. I'm going to edit who I'm assigning it to. I'm going to uncheck this, and maybe I only want to give it to my sharks. But I know that this child over here, I'm just going to add them in as well. So look how easy it is for me to add a few more students that I know might benefit from that activity. And I say save. Now it's going to assign it to those 4 students. I say assign now. And now those students have that activity, and it won't show up. See how it says assigned to 4? This one says assigned to all students. So it's real easy for you to create pathways or to differentiate your lessons based on the groupings that they have. So I know that y'all are standards-based grading, so you all could easily assign it. Oh, let me go back one more time here. When I am adding something, let me go back and I'm just going to add something else. Let's do Johnny Appleseed here. I'm going to say assign. I can also hook in the standard here. So I had set this class up by first grade. It's automatically defaulted to Texas. Maybe I know that this, what was it, Johnny Appleseed? I think it might have been a reading activity, but let me just grab social studies here. We're doing Johnny Appleseed, and y'all, I'm not going to hunt for teak and I'm just going to grab one, but you all would technically, you could search here for the teak. I'm going to just save it. So it is real easy for you to hook on that as well. And then I say assign, and it has been assigned, and I have now hooked in the standard to my activity. All right. Do we have any questions, Kaylee? All right. So I'm seeing over there. The next thing, I think it's me again still, right? All right. Formative assessment. Now, if you have the bit.ly, we've been putting it into the chat. You can click on formative assessment right here, and it's going to take you. Now, what I love about these launched last August. It is a great way for you to give feedback immediately to the students, because the formative assessment can be set up so it can tell the student, yes, you're got this correct, or it gives them that instant feedback. You can also change it to an assessment mode, which means it would not give them feedback, and it would tell you, oh, it took them 4 tries to get this correct. It took them 1 try, they got it all, with a 100. And that's perfect for your standards-based grading, because when parents are asking you, well, I don't understand, how did you get a 3 and not a 1, or a 1 and not a 3? And how did they get this grade? You would have some of these little assessment pieces, and we're going to talk in a little bit about the family portal piece, but it's a great way for you to have some documentation in here showing how the students actually did on that concept. It comes in multiple choice, true, false. There's little polls, and I love the drag and drops. We're going to look at a few of those in just a second. But there's also, we found this little guide that you can click on and take it to. I'm going to open it first before we actually go in there. Let me, allow cookies, of course. I'm going to zoom it just a little bit. Can y'all see that a little better? So it just tells you some best practices. Now it won't let me scroll now that I did that. I don't know, but whatever. All right, y'all actually have the link if you have that, but I love how it tells you the difference between a practice or an actual assessment piece that you would do with your students. So click on, if you have this, go ahead and click on that. It's going to take you into Seesaw. And what's cool is these are found in the Seesaw library. Now, this class was set up as first grade, so it took me straight to the first grade ones. I think kinder, you can still see. What's great about this is even though your class might be set up for a certain grade level, it is easy for you to, let's say you have a student who you saw some gaps in that learning, you need to go and fill those gaps, and you need to go back and do a few kindergarten skills that he may or she may not have. You can easily find those other things in here. But in here are some great, I love, this is a drag and drop. I'm going to just do, let's do present to class so you can kind of see. Now, what's you have to remember about a drag and a drop is this one, it looks like it only has 1 to go in each box. But one thing I learned as I was playing with these is if there's, because there's one that I saw that was a math one, and it said find all the shapes that have 3 sides and 3 corners or 3 angles or whatever. I can't remember now the question. And so if you click check your work and you've only put one of the shapes in there, it'll tell you that you're wrong because you haven't found all of them. So it won't tell the kids, yeah, that one was correct. It doesn't tell them until they get all of them sorted how they are. So let's see, this says, let's just do the penny in here. So I'm going to drop it and watch this. When I check my work, it tells me to try again. Now for the teacher, I'm sorry, I'm trying to see if my phone was going off. For the teacher in the report, it tells you, oh, it took them, 6 tries to get that correct. So you do get all of that information. Oh, you know what? I just realized that if I had put the nickel here, it probably would tell me I'm wrong, because look, it's got all the different ways. So this is what I was talking about. Let me see if I can find all of them. And I hope, did I get them all? See how it says yes, but it told me it took me 3 tries. But you want to try to teach them not to keep hitting that check work when it's got multiple things going in there, if that makes sense to you all. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is, let me close this out. I'm going to delete that and start over. If you go to the link we here goes to all of the assessments. Now there's more than just what it takes you to. The ones that it takes you to are the ones that Seesaw has built, But if you go to the community library, now I like to tell teachers, when you go to the community library, these may not have all been vetted. And when we mean they may not be to the rigor that we want, it's okay, but you might need to take it and hit the edit button and tweak it a little bit and make it fit the standard a little better. But I'd like to tell teachers to kind of watch, like, see this one right here? It only has 7 hearts. When it has a heart, that means that it's been added to these little hearts right here, adds it to a teacher's own personal library. They liked it so much after they looked at it that they wanted to add it to their library so they could get back to it. But when you're in here, do you see how you see these little words right here? This one is an assessment, and it's telling me that it's in 700, sorry y'all, 39. My eyes are little, my contact is crazy. This lady here is, oh, look at this. She is a Seesaw ambassador. When you see that on somebody's thing, that tells you that Seesaw, they have gone through the training to become a Seesaw ambassador. So, oh, and she's in Texas. How cool is that? But that also tells me that I can probably say her work is going to be at a better level than one that may not be an ambassador. But as I said here, okay, so here's another way to find assessments. So Kaylee, I hope everyone went to this. We were going to give you all a couple of minutes and we'll be watching the chat in case you have any questions about assessments, but let's let you just look at what's available there. And if I would also recommend that let me go back to this link. I want to go to this link. When you open one, hit that present to class and just kind of play with it a little bit and see what it actually does. I think here's that one I was talking about with the shapes, how you have to sort them. There's language arts in here, and there's different content areas. So let's go ahead and give you a couple of minutes to just look at these formative assessments. How are we doing, Kaylee? How are we on time?
We're good.
Okay. I don't know. I can't see any questions yet. I don't see any. Can you see it? Oh, yeah. And if you're just now getting to that bit.ly, or if you haven't gone, make sure you do that prize form that's on the first page of the bit.ly. Yes, I love what Kaylee put there. You can always modify, because once you add it to your library, it's kind of like your own copy of it, okay? I've got this group, sorry y'all, I got this group chat, and I've got a friend who's she's got probably stage 3 or 4 cancer. Anyway, sorry, she's got this group every day and of course everybody posts. My watch is going off. All right. Okay, anyone?
And there's a great question in the chat. Are assessments available in Spanish?
And what is so cool about these, and let me go find a lesson. Let me go back to that link. I'm going to show you when we get down to, I think it's slide 10, I have a link to the Spanish, but what I wanted to show you is a lot of their lessons. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see if this one has it. I'm going to say present to class. See right here where it says directions, and then underneath it has the Spanish directions. So the kids can listen to it in English, and they could also listen to it in Spanish. So it does have a lot of times the lessons there. I'm going to show you where to find the ones that are in Spanish, but even if the ones are in English, most of the time you will see up here at the top that the instructions are also there in Spanish as well, so that the kids can hear the directions. And a lot of times you'll even find it on these things as well. Does that answer your question? But I'm going to show you how to find more Spanish in just a little bit. I love Seesaw because they are so good about making sure that for our dual language with our Spanish speaking students that we have a lot of stuff. Yes, okay, good. All right, anyone find anything really good or notice anything about them? And on that little assessment guide, I think it talks about the difference between, oh, come on. My internet kind of went a little wonky. There it goes. It kind of talks about the practice versus assessment. You do that when you go to assign or when you go to edit the lesson. You can click to change the way it's set up. And then this one, let me go where this goes. This just takes you to the same place we took you to a minute ago, but it shows all of them. And if you scroll all the way down, sometimes the Spanish are down at the bottom there, but no, okay. So let's go back to here. All right, so that is formative assessment. All right, Kaylee, I think it's back to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to, where's my stop sharing button? It went to the other screen. There you go.
Hey. All right. So the instructional templates are one of my favorites. So as you can see on the slide, it's just an open-ended instructional template. They're blank so that they can be customized. Sorry. And we can copy and paste anything in there to customize the activity. If you click on the title instructional templates, it's going to take you to that spot in Seesaw where you can find the instructional template. Okay. And for those of you who forget about this, you just go to the Seesaw library and then you're going to go to the daily routines. And inside of daily routines are the instructional templates. And so I'm already filtered for first grade because that's what this course was designated as. But I can always go down to kindergarten or go up to second grade. Um, most of these are the same because they are just very general. They're blank. And so I like one of my favorites is the 10 frame. Um, and then if you keep scrolling down, now we get into the language arts ones of retelling a story or your different story elements or building a sentence, make a rhyme. My daughter is in kindergarten and she's obsessed with words that rhyme. And so this is one that we would probably use with her. And then if you keep going, you have science, and then you also have social studies, and then just behavior as well. So I really like these. Um, and let me just click on the 10 frame. You can see what it looks like. And again, I love how Seesaw always gives us a lesson plan to go with it. So if I'm kind of struggling to implement, I can go through the lesson plan to see how they recommend it to use. Okay. And then right here in the lesson plan, there is a Spanish version, and then you can click view the lesson and it'll take you to the Spanish version as well.
Yay.
So that's always great. And so I'm just going to click present to class so that you can see what this looks like. This would be another great way to put on to the Clear Touch panel and use it as a station, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or use it to teach the concept of how we do a 10 frame. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so just like Karen was saying, you have the directions in English, you have your directions in Spanish, and they just click on the little speaker button to hear them. But you're going to look and listen to the number. So if it's going to give you a number, and then they would just drag the little counters to make their 10 frame. Okay? And then there's a second one as well. Okay. So I really like these. I want to give you a couple of minutes to kind of go through those. Sorry, there they are. No, I lost them. That's okay. I'll just go back into the library. I know
Yeah.
where they are. They're in the Seesaw Library. Daily routines. And if I
And
scroll
you know what
down,
else?
here's the instructional template.
Yeah. And you know what else I love are those calendar math pieces too
Oh,
that
yeah.
are in the
Let me,
daily routines. We didn't
yes,
even
let me go
put
back
that
to
on there,
the
but I'm just throwing that out to to those listening. That calendar math is so cool to do with the students. And it doesn't look like they put October yet, but it's just
I
October
bet
1st.
because
They
it
are
says view
usually
11 lessons.
they are
Oh, it
pretty
is
good.
October.
Do they have October in
No,
there
it's right
yet?
there.
Oh, there it is.
Nope,
Okay, I didn't see it on the front. They hadn't switched it there, but
they
okay.
haven't switched it yet. Oh, but it looks like they have them built out for the entire year.
Oh, that's good because they didn't have that when we looked at the beginning of the year. They just had the first couple of months. So that's so cool. You'll,
Yeah. So what I would really love is for you all to go back into the instructional templates. There's 64 lessons. So I
woo,
want you to see if there is one that you can implement later this week.
this week
So
or
find one,
next week?
yeah,
Yeah,
this week or next week.
soon.
What is one that you could implement? And then just go ahead and put that in the chat so that we can feed off of your ideas.
And if you find one, make sure you add the little heart on it so that it adds it to your library so you don't have to go hunt for it later in the week. Okay, did anyone find a good one? Oh, compare with
Yes,
10 frames for Kinder. Yay. Make it with
and then make it with
shapes.
shapes.
Pre-K. I know, and these templates you can fit to whatever your lesson is because they're pretty much blank and you just add the text or add whatever you want to them to make them fit your needs. I just love them.
Yeah, Seesaw came out with these right around the middle of last year, like the middle of spring, I want to say, and we have just loved them.
I know
So
it.
they're fairly new, but the fact that they have 64 of them that you can kind of customize to fit your lesson, the literary elements for second grade.
Okay, cool. All right, so my turn. I don't
Yes,
think you're sharing anymore, so let me go back to sharing. Did it? Did I share the right screen or I'm
I
having
see
a
your Seesaw screen.
yay! I'm having a hard time. This video, I'm going to go back and look at it and going, what is wrong with her eye? One contact, and I've rinsed it right before it started, and it's like blurry now, and so I'm like trying to see half the screen. I'm like a pirate.
Time
Okay,
to change contacts.
when I just did.
Oh,
I changed them on the first of the month, so
oh,
it's been a rough day. So I think that's part of what it is. Okay, let's go on though.
we have
So
5 minutes left, Karen.
oh gosh, we got to talk fast
No.
because the district library. So here's what I was saying. We did go ahead and link so you could easily get to the lessons in Spanish. and then the literacy in Spanish. So those are there. I do want to say that the district library, hopefully in the next week or so, is going to change and for the good. I don't have any pictures of it, but what's happening with the district library is when you see your buttons up here, you've got that community library. Like I said, great stuff in there, but it's not always vetted and it may not be to the rigor. But in our district library, this is stuff that we have, that program coordinators in different content areas are starting to add in here. I know Heather, and I think she's joined us on our webinar tonight, but Heather has been adding a lot of things. But what's cool is Seesaw is going to allow us, they're getting ready to add a feature for us where we can now have this stuff in collections so that it's not all loosey like it's looking here, loosey-goosey. All right, because currently right now it's all grade level. You have to filter. So I'm first grade and I'm looking for what's in here for math. Whoop, come on, cursor. So you can see that it filters now. What's going to be cool is we're going to have little folders or little collections in there, and then inside each collection will be another little way of grouping. So if this is the math folder, we could decide we're going to group it by TEKS, or we're going to group it by skill or content. We haven't really talked yet how we're going to do that, but hopefully we get that turned on in the next week or so that we can start filtering it a little better. Currently, right now, you just have to use these little drop downs, but that is a great way to filter for now. But like I said, Heather has been adding things in, and I think math has started working on it. They're starting, I don't think they've added things yet, but I know they've started a spreadsheet and they've been looking through all the lessons to try to match it to our curriculum so that we can start filtering it there. So that's going to be a great addition. The other thing I want to say is don't be like me. When I first started in Google, my Google Drive is a mess. When you add things to your library, see, I added a bunch of stuff tonight and I didn't put it in a collection. So and look, if you scroll all the way down, look at that. I have 112 activities not in a collection. And when I click here, they're just loose. See, loose, and it won't even load them all. So what you want to do in your library, or let's go back to the community. So when I go and heart something, like let's heart this one, it pops this up and it says, do you want to add this in a collection? And so I think that was math. So I think it said place value. So I might put it in my math collection. Now when I go to my library, I think it did put it here because these are my recent. But then if I open math, I would easily find it right. Hey, didn't I add it in here? Maybe. It's making a liar out of me. Nope, there it is, isn't it? The 10 frames. I can't remember now what it was I added. But yeah, it was in there. Huh, it was that one. So it will add it into your little folders. So make sure you try to remember that as you're adding things in. And what you need to do if you don't have a collection, it will tell you. So let me find something else here. Ooh. U is for unhappy. Let's not get that one. Let's grab, I'll just grab one. Okay, I grabbed this one. If I don't have collections already started, I just click the little plus sign right here and I type the name. It's that easy. And then once you put your name here, you just click on create. So there you have the collection. So make sure you're using the hearts and you're putting things into the collection. Ooh, the last page, family portal. Oh my gosh, I really want to talk about this and we just went way over. But guys, the family portal, if you have not turned that on, you're missing a big piece. So go to the wrench, and on here I did write the instructions. You have to turn this on. What is cool about the family portal is it allows the parents to see what the students are doing. And you know, I heard somebody saying today, I just don't like that the kids are just, they're not really, this was a teacher who's not really looking at the work and assigning it with fidelity of what she wants them to do. But this would be a way to curb them from just doing something silly, because if the parents are viewing their work, then the parent might be going, well, this isn't, I don't even understand what you're doing on this page. To turn this on, you just click on the wrench and you go, see, the wrench is your friend anytime you want to edit anything. You go down to where it says families and you click on enable family access. And then all you need to do is say invite families. I don't think we have anyone in here, but then it would populate. I actually would just say print invite or share an invite link. Now, what's cool about that share the invite link? I'm going to just click it. Here's the link. You send this in Remind, or you send it home, but you send it in Remind or in an email. The kid or the teacher or the parent clicks that link, and then they tell you the name of their child, and then it doesn't just automatically connect to them. You're going to have to, you verify and make sure that it's that matches the name, and then you click that. So it's not like they can just get into anyone's work. They just get into their own kids' things. Okay, so print those invites. Please, please, please. Our goal is this year we want to get the parents more involved with this. So make sure you go to the wrench and look at this family invite. Here's where, see, it says manage the families, where you would go in and see where it says pending approvals. So you have to make sure it matches and goes with the correct student. I like this family likes and comments, because what's cool is parents can make comments back on their kids' work and say, you know, how much they enjoyed it. But anyway, all right. So that's the family piece. And then down here at the bottom, we have webinars. If you want to go watch, there's the introduction. Falling for Seesaw is more on how to set it up. We've got lots of links to different help guides, 2 great webinars, and a plug because we are going to do Cami in the next webinar. And we have Tech Palooza coming on Saturday, November 2nd. It's 3 hours. If you're still looking for exchange day hours, what great way to get them there. And we're going to have lots of different sessions available. You can click there to see the links.